All right, fine. I'll be a gracious host. How you doing?
Little Mermaid is the scariest Disney movie by far, though.
Why the hell is Ace Blade in your Kickstarter?
Some comics. I'm getting controversial today. We're gonna get controversial today with.
My proudest moment is this interview and being able to talk to you two.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tours Comics in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions respectfully brings to you the 65th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I'm your host, Kyrun Silver from Tours Comics. Across the way is the violacious reporter of Ace Blade, Danny J. Quick, and together we are your two award-winning blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We are live on the Age to Geekdom Network via Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support, but don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience.
Absolutely.
Brother Quick, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing, brother Kyrun?
I'm doing all right.
Good to see you early on a Saturday. It's good to see you.
Don't you see me every Saturday early at this point?
Yeah, but it's always good to see you, though. It's always
okay.
Good. I'm disappointed. I know we've been talking more and more about sports on this show. And I'm disappointed because my Lakers lost last night. You don't need to celebrate that. Your team is doing great. You can just be sad with me.
No, hell no. Hell no. Be sad about the Lakers?
See how they do. Yeah. We could have won that game, and I think it came down to the wire, and I was up until 3 a.m. just not being able to sleep. But other than that, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad the Lakers lost, as every time I am. My Kings are. Wait, what?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say you might be on the wrong microphone because you sound a little muted there. Sounding a little off. You sounded good before the intro came in, but I don't know what happened.
Wow, that's weird.
It might have just been me, but thanks for confirming, Fish.
Hold on, let me see something.
Is this any better?
Way better.
Okay. All right. I have no idea why the settings changed on that, but it really is better.
That's way better. Like I can't hear your computer fan anymore. Okay. You sound like you are not underwater anymore. That's amazing.
All right. Podcasting, you got to know what you're doing, I guess.
Got to know what you're doing. I'm excited, man. We got a great guest this week.
Okay. Wait, before we get to bring guests on, because you're talking about sports, and I did want to bring up something that's sports related and our show. You showed this to me the other day, and I got okay, so you know what I'm about to say. So yeah. let me show this real quick. Oh wait, nope, that's the wrong thing.
That's the wrong thing.
That's the wrong thing.
Oh, like Fish Lee's art. Who's the artist? Who's the artist for that issue?
Don't worry about that. All right, so this is what ESPN.
ESPN, yes.
ESPN apparently has something called quick takes. And
this was the first time I ever saw it too. They recently did this for the I want to say the not the Undisputed Show, the one with
First Take,
Chris Broussard, not First Take, but it's a First Take with
I was gonna say it has the FT right there. It's First Take
with the First Take crew, but it's I was like, that's kind of strange. I mean, it's a kind of a generic name, so I guess somebody else could have come up with it, but
that was our name first.
It was definitely our name. That. Definitely, we're using that. So,
all right. Do we sue now? How do we get our money?
I think we need some kind of litigation needs to happen. Something. Okay. Either they need to let us come on to do quick takes, or we need to get paid for them using quick takes. One or the other.
I think if anything, it'd be they bring you on, since I don't really do anything for quick takes.
You run the clock.
We don't even use the clock anymore.
We don't use
use the
can't do it. I can't do it without the clock now. I can't do it without somebody who's supposed to at least be running the clock.
All right, so I'm just gonna stand in the background,
Yeah,
pointing at the clock. Is that what you want me to do? Because it'd be quick takes on ESPN. What?
I'm down with it.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say, ESPN, do better. Stop stealing other people's work.
Come on now.
You know, but all right. Our guest, you're bringing her up, so you go ahead and introduce her, I guess, since you all that.
Sure. So our guest this week is an author, a TV feature film comic book writer and novelist. She is a winner of the Sloan Fellowship for Screenwriting and the Gold Aurora and Bronze Telly for PSA produced by women in film. She also won numerous awards while completing the UCLA MFA program in screenwriting. The one, the only writer of Boston Metaphysical Society, Madeleine Holly-Rosing.
Thank you very much for having me on the show, guys.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you for being on.
It's early, though.
Yes, Danny, it's early for us on the West Coast.
Listen, I've said numerous times we can change the time of the show at this point. I think the first 3 seasons we did at 7 a.m. for you, it was good enough. Now that we've gotten we've gotten the swing of it, we're kind of in here. I think we can change the time. It's at least for our East Coast, for our West Coast guests when they come on, we can do a 10 o'clock show or something like that for y'all.
Or even 8.
even 1 hour later would be great.
Even 8.
It really helps. I mean, that extra hour of sleep, my mind is groggy right now because it's been a long night. So that extra hour of sleep would help, but I've been saying that for a few years.
I get the dogs fed. I mean, all of that little stuff is done. And then I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
Ready to go.
Yeah, now my husband's like, he's trying to get ready to do what he wants to do, and then he's gonna go feed the dogs. And I hear him, the dogs are like running up and down in the kitchen. I'm like, when are we gonna be fed?
Dogs will keep you even if you don't have a clock. Dogs will keep you on schedule. They absolutely will, especially if you train them. If you take time to get them in a consistent pattern, they will definitely let you know when it's time to go eat, when it's time to go use the bathroom. When it's time to walk, they will let you know.
Yes, routine is everything for them. It's like with little kids. Little kids need routine. Dogs need routine. It provides security and all that other good stuff.
Exactly.
Comic book creators need routine too. I think for me, I think that's one thing that really helps me is sitting down and writing for an established amount of time a day. At least working on some content for my platforms for a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff helps me too, to be honest with you. So maybe I'm half kid, half dog or something like that. I don't know.
No, you're all kid. You're all kid.
No, everybody benefits from routine. You get stuff done. And when I'm not running Kickstarters, I have my own routine, and I try to only spend like an hour doing administrative stuff, and then the rest of the afternoon writing or doing something. But
Javon said Danny's half 3-year-old, and I totally agree with this statement.
3-year-olds are the most carefree beings on the planet.
They are.
All right.
So many things are new and fun and
Absolutely.
All right, Madeleine. So we do want to know about you, but we want to talk about your work also. I know Danny did an amazing job reading off your biography. But for anybody that's not familiar with you that he didn't bring, can you give us a little 30-second preview about who you are, what you're working on, and why you're on our show, really?
For those of you who don't know me, I am the writer-creator of the Steampunk Supernatural series, both prose, graphic novel, and audio drama, Boston Metaphysical Society, which is about an ex-Pinkerton detective, a spirit photographer, and a genius scientist who battles supernatural forces in late 1800s Boston. We started with a 6-issue miniseries with art by Emily Hugh. That's what we call Volume 1 now. And then we did 4 standalone sequels with art by Gwen Tavares. Those are now all compiled in volume 2. So now we're essentially working on volume 3, which is a new story called Mystery at Pikes Peak. It's a 4-issue miniseries, and we're currently on Kickstarter to print the first 2 issues. And I'm happy to say that issue number 1 is done. And Elizabeth is currently working on issue 2.
Nice.
And so is Katie. Fortunately, when Elizabeth is done inking, it goes straight to Katie, our colorist. So it's almost being done simultaneously and be less waiting. I should talk about them a little bit. I have a new team on board. We have a new interior artist, Elizabeth McKedza. Katie Brown is our colorist. And doing our main covers is Angela Wu. Okay. And for the first time ever, we are doing variant covers and metal covers. Ooh. And the 2 variants are done by Rio Burton and Steph C.
I love it.
I am a horrible host. I should have actually been sharing this for people to look at while you were describing that. So let's do that. Now,
yeah, we can bring it up. They're gorgeous to look at. So
now I do not ask because I am a fan of your work. I have a couple of the Boston Metaphysical Society books, but I was looking at the preview page for this, and the story is now that they're on the run and they're fleeing Boston. So are we going to change the name of the series since they're no longer in Boston? Or
no,
oh, okay.
No, because that's where they're from. I mean, that's where their heart is.
Okay. Home is where your heart is. That's right.
All right.
That's where their heart is. I mean, they were all the whole team was essentially born and raised there. So, and eventually they'll go back, but right now we're taking a fun little detour and exploring different aspects of the Boston metaphysical universe, the larger country, the whole, and I thought it would be fun. I kind of had this plan that at some point I'd probably bring Tesla back. And I decided that after 4 standalone sequels that it was time to bring Tesla. And I'd already set it up at the end of Scourge the Mechanical Gentleman. Yeah, those are the covers by Angela Wu, our main covers.
Very nice.
And some of the interiors by Elizabeth and Katie. Because I got to travel to Colorado by airship, you know.
Now, where did this love for steampunk come from?
Well, it's kind of interesting because, yeah, those are the covers of our volume 1 and volume 2.
That's awesome.
And that's the variant by Rio Burton. And that's from Steph C.
That's cool. I think there's a couple other images we can see. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other rewards, the pins. I do a new pin for every Kickstarter. It's just a thing now. People collect them. That's the cover of the prequel novel, Storm of Secrets. Okay. And Prelude is the anthology of short stories and novellas. Also prequel.
I think that's the last image. Yeah. So
of the main ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I recently ordered the first the complete series on Amazon, I believe. The paperback. So I think it's the 6-issue series.
The 6 issues, yeah, you can pick up through SourcePoint Press or myself or Amazon. I think they have it up on Amazon.
That's what I was going to ask. So the Amazon, it has your name in there. So I was, fairly confident that it was, coming from you. But Amazon is one of those that you just don't know. You just don't know. But it does have you listed as the author and Emily Hugh as co-author. But Amazon is different because it can be sold through another bookstore or something like that, and you might not actually get paid for that. So how as an independent, how do you kind of navigate the different ways to get your book out?
Well, I think volume. I know this gets a little confusing. the volume 1 that you see with the Roberta Ingranata cover, actually that's Source Point Press.
Okay.
They did that. I think the sequels are me that are up there. Even though you can get them through Source Point Press, I don't really worry. I mean, the comics, most of the comics I sell are either at cons or through Kickstarter. It's not through Amazon, so I don't really spend a lot of time or effort on that. It's not worth it for me. But yeah, and then volume 2, you need to get you need to get directly from me right now. So
okay. I think Kickstarter is, so as a platform, Kickstarter has its pros and cons. We use Kickstarter for all of our releases right now, but I think it's hard to keep up with people on Kickstarter unless you're on the platform a lot. But it does at least give you the ability to update your previous backers on other campaigns and things like that if they want to follow along. But there's so many platforms right now. Like, there's so many different ways to follow the creators that that make the things that you like. Which are your, if I were going to follow you, which place would be the place that I would go to follow you?
Probably Kickstarter, or just sign up for my newsletter directly through my website. That would be the easiest, or follow Facebook page. But I know Facebook can be weird with the algorithms, and you don't always see everything. So I would say, to make sure you get update information, is newsletter number 1, and then follow me through Kickstarter, because even when I'm not running a campaign, I will usually do a once a month update on Kickstarter, just because not everybody on Kickstarter gets my newsletter, and vice versa. So I'll do a brief update of just like what's coming, and if anything special is happening, and con appearances, and just keep it real simple. So if there's any question about anything, people can, there's a history there, so people can go back and say, like, hey, did I miss something? And then they can go back in the updates and check for anything. But yeah, I mean, I follow a lot of people on Kickstarter because it's just an easy thing to do.
Maybe I'm using Kickstarter wrong, because to me, Kickstarter doesn't seem like the most social platform. I know you can leave comments and reply for people and stuff like that. It just doesn't seem like I don't know. I feel like, most of the social media platforms, you get to see people's stuff, and then they see your stuff, and you can comment and things like that. I think I'm going to start using Kickstarter more like that, like as a platform to update people and things like that. I think that sounds like a great idea, especially for people who want to buy your books, because if they're on that platform, most likely they're looking to purchase stuff from you. So that
Yes.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and you don't have to inundate people with stuff. How often I update on Kickstarter really depends on if I'm running a campaign. If it's a post campaign, then usually like right after a campaign ends, I'll send a thank you everybody, and what's going to happen next, and if you're new, explaining how Kickstarter works, and you don't get the money for 2 weeks, and then after that goes in, then I update them usually at least every 2 weeks on what's going on with art production or printing or shipping. If there's something really important, I'll do it within a week, like good news or bad news. I remember when I was doing Ghosts and Demons, the printer I was using one up in Canada, was right as a pandemic was hitting, and the books were printed, they were in the boxes, and then they let me know that the warehouse shut down literally the day before my books were going to be shipped.
Oh, wow.
And so I had that. I'm like, okay, guys, there's nothing I can do about this. They're done. They're in the boxes, but they've shut down. And so I guess it went on skeleton. It didn't turn out to be that bad, because we ended up getting them within like 6 weeks. They had reduced staff, and like that, and people were sending me little gifts of like, you're this close. So I'm getting all these funny little gifts. But yeah, so you just like I said, it really depends, when we're post campaign and everything's shipped. It's just once a month. And that's it.
I appreciate you giving us this advice about Kickstarter, things like that, because you also have written a book called The Kickstarter for Independent Creator.
Correct.
Which is a good read. If anybody hasn't picked up, you really should. Madeleine gives a lot of information as far as getting into Kickstarter, how to use the platform, things like that. I guess 2 questions is: are you going to make maybe an updated version? I think the last one was like a few years ago, but I mean, you're definitely more experienced with it.
I had if you do pick it up, you want the one with the green cover. That's the second edition. It was a green cover. I actually did. That was originally written, I think, 2018. I did update it in 2020 and just didn't change the cover. It does need to be updated again, just because some of the nuances on Kickstarter have changed. Like, the add-ons have changed. And I think I talked about the add-ons in 2020, and they hadn't really worked out the bugs in the back end yet in 2020. And so I don't like being anybody's beta.
Okay.
I'll let other people be the beta.
I'm with you on that.
And they just actually added a new feature where you can now add images to all your rewards.
Happened like 2 days. That happened 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that literally happened 2 days ago.
So all your reward section, you can now put images to preview what your reward is going to look like, basically.
That's good. It took I know there's another platform that does something similar to that, so that's good. I think I'm with you on not want to. I'm even the type of person who won't buy like new gaming systems. I used to be heavy playing games and things like that, but I still haven't bought a PlayStation 5, even though my kids have begged me to. Because I'm like, I'll wait until number 1, they work all the bugs out, and number 2, the price drops a little bit. I can hold off for a year to 2 years to save that couple $100.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm not in any rush, and I watch how things play out, and talk to other creators of like the problems they've had, things they've liked, things they've disliked, and but there's also a certain backer expectation. I mean, for a long time, I didn't use BackerKit, and it had been out for a few years, even though I was running Kickstarters. But then backers kept asking me, like, "Oh, will I be able to get this later? Will I be able to add on something later?" I'm like, "Okay, I guess it's time to do BackerKit." And and now
I'm still not using BackerKit. I guess outside of the add-ons, I didn't see a reason to use it. So
if you have a additional stuff to sell, then and because I have like pin sets, I have magnets, I have other books, I have I have other stuff. I have a library, a collection of stuff, so it's worth it for me. If you're just starting out, for those of you out there who are just starting out, you're probably not quite there yet. I would wait a couple years. And also now Kickstarter has a competitor to BackerKit. I believe it's called Pledge Manager. I'm not sure. I have to go look it up. Yeah, it just came out. They came to me to use them, and I'm thinking about it very carefully.
Like you said, you don't want to be anybody's beta.
I don't like being anybody's beta, but it's going to save me a lot of money.
Yeah, that's the thing. I see. My thing with BackerKit, the thing that sold me on BackerKit was the logistics part of it. The fact that they group together, the package bundles, and you can print all the labels out at the same time like that. I just hate logistics to begin with. So having a studio here where I can ship stuff and print labels and all that stuff, it's helped. But I just hate the headache of making sure that the thing that the person bought gets to the person who bought it. That whole process is a huge headache for me, and they're platform kind of helped out with that. So that's why I
Yeah,
use
no, it's a very good platform, and it's improved considerably like over the past 5-6 years. I think Ray Chow over at Mythiopia for his Skies of Fire was one of the early adopters of BackerKit. So he was the beta on that one.
it.
Yeah, there was a few issues I think back in the day, and but they've vastly improved. I've had very good customer service with him. They are expensive,
Yeah.
but you know, there's that old saying, you know, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
So I haven't decided. I don't have to decide yet because we're not going to be shipping probably till July or August. So I don't have to decide that right now.
Yeah. I think it's funny for indie creators, like we have to know pretty much every part of the process, you know. Whereas, you know, if you're working for, you know, the big two or whatever, you do your part and it goes to a person and then they handle the rest of that, you know. And I kind of prefer it this way. And I know you've had experience as a screenwriter writing for TV and things like that. What is it about the indie comics process that you know keeps you coming back as opposed to, you know, any of the other amazing things that you could be doing?
Because this is mine,
Mm.
and I have complete control over it. There's no gatekeeper, and I can go. You know, there's no reason to have to deal with a gatekeeper anymore. You can go directly to your fan base, and Kickstarter and other similar platforms allow you to do that, and it takes out the middle person. You know, that doesn't mean you know, you still have to create quality things, and you do have to deliver. So you have to have multiple skill sets. And like you said, I'm not a big fan of fulfillment either. I'm probably going to be, and we've been doing it here. I mean, I up until the last 2 Kickstarters, I've been doing all the fulfillment myself primarily, and then the last 2, my husband helped tremendously, or else I'd probably still be doing it. But next time I'm, you know, going to take a different approach and probably just I know Russell said that he hired a fan and, you know, got tables and they just, you know, punched out packages, and that's what I'm probably going to do. There's a couple people I'll hire locally, some friends of mine, set up tables in the front yard, bring in lunch, and we're just going to crank it out for the day. And so you'll get, you know, hopefully get 2/3 to 3/4 of the packages done, except for the ones that have all the little extras. And then those I'm going to have to do myself. That's why she's my spirit, because it's mine. I can do it my way. That's true. But that doesn't mean you don't take, you know, good advice when it's offered, you know, to make your project better.
Now we are team spoiler here, at least Danny is team spoiler, I should say. Is there any spoilers that you'd be willing to drop about this issue, Boston Metaphysical, that maybe our fans could know about and maybe get interested in your book?
Mystery at Pikes Peak. We're introduced to a new character, Mai Wei Chow, who's from the Great House Chow in California.
I know them.
One of the spoilers would be that in the Boston Metaphysical Universe, which is an alternate history from our own, the Chinese Exclusionary Act never happened. And so we kind of get a glimpse into what that means for the larger whole of the universe and the power structures within the country. And House Chow has a vested interest in Tesla's experimental station. She's there as his partner, working on wireless technology. And a lot of that So you get a glimpse of that, and that the connections between what they're doing and what Caitlin's experiencing should be a lot of fun.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, I think this is the time where we actually go into Danny's quick takes.
I'm ready.
You ready for that?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Quick takes. I love those graphics. For those who haven't seen the show, quick takes is our rapid fire Q&A section where we invite our guests to answer some questions off the top of their head. I've been scouring your social medias, not quite stalking, but just scouring for information. And I'm going to ask you some questions and see if you can give us the answer in 45 seconds or less. So,
Okay.
the first one is an easy one. You are a force in the indie community. You've been able to consistently grow your backers and your supporters. And I wanted to know what would be your best advice for indies to grow their backer count.
Oh, now that cons are back on, I would suggest going back to cons, making sure you get your email list, sign up list on your table immediately. And even if you don't maybe have one book, go and share a table, share expenses, keep it cheap, bring your own lunch, don't go out to lunch, bring your own sandwich and goodies. You don't need to spend $20 on lunch.
That's a hard one for me. I love one of my favorite things to do, even when traveling with me and my wife, was we like to eat. We like to, wherever we go, we want to eat whatever is the local food. So the bring my own lunch thing it just never works for me when I go to shows. But it is great advice. It is great advice. Okay. Question number 2. Okay, you can only have one of these two for the rest of your life. The other one does not exist to you anymore. Do you pick croissants or crumb cake, and why?
Crumb cake every time.
Yeah,
that's because I used to live in New York, and crumb cake every Sunday was the thing I used to do. I used to pick it up with the LA Times. That was my brief glimpse back home. I love crumb cake. I make it here, and the best. And I used to live in Hoboken, and that's where Carlos from what was it, the Cake Boss has his store, and he also has stores in Las Vegas now. And I got to introduce my husband to his crumb cake when we went to Las Vegas many years ago. So yeah, crumb cake every time.
I love it. My
I
wife
didn't even get to start the timer. She did that so fast.
crumb cake, easy answer.
That's easy. I love croissants, but it'd be crumb cake every time.
I love it. Okay, awesome. Okay, so this is a question that I ask a lot of creators, especially
every
those
show.
who don't, especially those who do
every show,
because I have
every show you ask this.
I have a certain view about conventions, but I like to hear other people's sides. So
every show.
Question number 3: which do you prefer? Big cons or small shows, and why?
I qualify that. I generally prefer big cons because we have a niche within a niche story. So we need a broader base of people to find more that will like what we have. If it's a smaller show, I prefer it if it's a steampunk show, because that's a built-in demographic for me. But yeah, generally, obviously there's always going to be exceptions, but yeah, like I love a WonderCon in New York, all of those. But if it's a steampunk one, yeah, I would definitely do that and those are small shows.
I love that answer. That's one of the better answers that I've had to that question. I think it does matter a lot. Like you said, if you have something specific that people are looking for, and there are shows that are tailored to that, Of course, you want to, get that audience, but, for a niche or a niche inside of a niche, you definitely want to hit as many people as you can because that makes a lot of sense. I like that. I like that answer. Okay. Question number 4. In 45 seconds, can you tell us the best part of creating? I think, and you already did earlier when we talked about it, and the worst part of creating.
The best part of creating is actually being able to figure out your story when it all kind of falls into place and you're in that head zone. The worst part of creating is all the admin stuff. I travel a lot. We're talking about travel, flights, hotels, local taxes, and like later on today I've got to go prep for WonderCon, so yeah.
Yeah, the extras are not always the most fun, but I like the learning process of that. Kyrun has a team that he pays to do all that stuff.
Don't do that. I like that.
So he doesn't have to worry about it, but that's good. Okay, last question. And this is there's another show that I do with Javon Stokes and Morgan Iverson called Top 5 Live, where we do a top 5 list every week. So I want to see if I can get your top 5 life-changing inventions. Not in any particular order, but what do you believe are the top 5 life-changing inventions?
The washing machine, the printing press.
Okay.
There's got to be something more. Probably the automobile.
Okay. Yeah.
The telephone.
Telephone. That's a good one. Yeah.
And the internet.
The internet. There it is. That's the one. That's the one. The internet. That's a good list. The washing machine definitely a huge one. That's one that
well, you have to understand what the washing machine means to women.
Yeah.
They're no longer out scrubbing clothes and hanging them up because that takes an enormous amount of time. Once you stop, women still handle the bulk of all household duties worldwide. And once you start giving them tools that save them time, they can spend more doing other things they'd rather be doing, which could be either, spending time with their children, creating things, traveling, stuff that's not grunt work.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I remember my mom used to we used to have these clotheslines in the back of our house, and she would be back there hanging up clothes for hours and hours and hours. And this was when I was 4 or 5 years old though, so that's been a minute ago. But yeah, absolutely. I love the answer. And that was Quick Takes this week, brought to you by ESPN First Take, I guess.
No, not until we're getting paid. No, it's not.
It's terrible.
All right. We do have a couple more minutes left, Madeleine. Is there anything maybe that we didn't bring up that you'd want to speak on, or anything?
Just to remind people to obviously come back the Kickstarter, and if it got brushed by real quickly, there we go. We also have an audio drama, and this is an original story. It takes place during the time period of the original 6-issue miniseries, so it is standalone. And Mystery of Pikes Peak actually takes some elements from The Ghost Ship, which is the audio drama, and also one of my short stories, The Underground. You have little hints in there. So yeah, and the audio drama is available as a CD or as a commercial-free download, as an add-on. And come check it out. There's some very affordable reward tiers, and if it's not in your budget this month, then please share.
No, if it's not in your budget, go take a loan, go back to Kickstarter. I mean, it's already funded, but we want to make sure she gets even more funding, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it helps me pay my artists.
Exactly. We always love paying artists, right?
We
Yes.
do love that.
And colorist and letterer and pre-press guy. And yes.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being on. This has been a fun interview. Outside of the Kickstarter, where can people check out the rest of your work? Maybe get your other issues, things like that.
Sure. My website, bostonmetaphysicalsociety.com or queenofmercia.com. They're me. They're both me. That's just my corporate name. I have an LLC now. And Facebook, Boston Metaphysical Society Comic, Twitter, M. Holly-Rosing, and Instagram at MCHolly1.
All right. Facebook user says pay your artists. Yes.
I do pay my artists on time, all the time.
We all advocate for paying artists.
Absolutely. They have to eat too.
I eat too much, so maybe I shouldn't get paid as much as I do. All right, Danny, where can people check out your work?
If you want to find me, at the Ace Blade on all social media platforms, or you can go to our website, www.fourthwallpros.com. Kyrun, where can people find you?
You can find my work at tauruscomics.com, and you can check out all my stuff at Taurus Comics on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Tumblr. Thank you. I always forget Tumblr. And Facebook, of course. But next week, join us where we will have writer and creator Russia Jones on talking about her book Gumballs. This is gonna be a fun time as always, But if this is your first time checking out the Four Tales podcast, please go to our website. That is fourtalespodcast.com. The number 4 TALES podcast.com. You can listen to our previous episodes and find out who's coming on. Also, as part of the Agents of Geekdom Network, we do want to give a shout out to Fish Lee. He is starting a mailing list. And I'm going to put that up right now. If you have your QR scanner, please scan it. You can get 2 free comics just for sign up for Fish Lee's mailing list and newsletter. So check it out. But I'm going to leave that up for a couple more seconds here.
I had to pay for those comics. That's not fair, Fish. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. That's awesome.
All right, that's good enough. So we're going to get going. But until next time, sayonara, goodbye. And everybody, please take care of yourselves.
Thank you.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.